so obviously big game this week against the Eagles. I don't know, division rival. Coach DQ keeps talking about the division tournament. Would
you feel better about the team if they finished 5-1 in the division?
I don't know. I feel better about the team if we finish strong.
7-10.
Yeah, yes, even. Yeah, I mean 7-10. I feel a lot better about the team than I would as a 4-win team, of course.
Yeah.
I think it's not going to happen, but I think they can win one of these next few games. Who knows? It's interesting when you look at the Eagles because I know they've had some turmoil lately. But, they started out the season 4-0, wins over the Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams, Bucks. I mean, it really got off to a good start.
Yep.
And then they lose to what turns out to be a pretty darn good Broncos team. They lose to the Giants, which is kind of shocking.
That was a bad one. Yep.
Shocking, but then they get back on it. They win 4 in a row. They beat a mediocre Vikings team. They beat the Giants pretty good. They have a kind of a dud next 2 games offensively against the Packers and Lions, but they do get dubs.
Defensively, they were really good.
They only gave up 7 and 9 in those 2 weeks, but then they go on their 3-game losing streak where they lose to the Cowboys, who are, okay. I guess they could score. They have some offense. The Bears, Caleb has his moments, certainly. Ben Johnson's revitalized that team. And then the Chargers, and then they get back on it last week with just a dominating 31-0 win over the Raiders, but nobody really knows what to make of that because of the Raiders.
They're a mystery.
And they're so bad.
Yeah. They're a mystery.
And then when you look at them, just statistically, they don't really blow you away there either.
Nope.
It's kind of strange. They were so good rushing the football last year. They're 19th in the league in rushing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not anywhere near. That's still Saquon, but
Saquon
he's not doing what he's been doing.
No, he's averaging less than 4 yards a carry.
Obviously Jalen struggled passing. That's never really been the forte for him. I mean, he's had massive games passing, but it's not like he's a guy that you just chalk up for 250 yards every week. In fact, they're passing for 199 yards. They're 22nd in the league in passing.
They've never been a team that's passing for a ton of yards.
But he's had
which
moments.
is why A.J. Brown's been frustrated and Devontae Smith has been frustrated. Yeah, he's had moments. Guess when? In the Super Bowls. Jalen Hurts has played really well in Super Bowls, and last week he had 3 touchdown passes. This is against Raiders.
Against the Raiders. It's a bad team. The thing that he hasn't done well this year, and I'm sure there are many reasons for it, but he hasn't run the ball as much or for as many yards as he did last year. I think he had 14 rushing touchdowns. Now, I'm guessing at least half of those were tush pushes, if not more. He doesn't have a lot of rushing touchdowns this year. I think he's got 6.
You talking about Saquon?
No, I'm talking about Hurts.
About Hurts?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon's numbers are way down.
Saquon has 940 yards, so he'll go over 1,000, but it's going to be a far cry from what he did last year.
Hit the Skins is cooked up by our friends at Oseo Korean Barbecue in the Lansdowne Town Center. Authentic Korean flavors, bold marinades, premium cuts, grilled right at your table. It's a dining experience that's as fun as it is delicious. Perfect for date night or dinner with the family. Oseo means come on in.
So, I mean, look, they're I think 6.5-point favorites as of yesterday. I don't know if that's what it is exactly this morning.
Seems light.
FanDuel. But the Eagles are only averaging 22 points per game. That's not that far off from what we're averaging. They're defensively, they're better. They're only giving up 19 a game, which is 6. That's their best asset at this point.
They just don't seem to be firing on all cylinders like they did late in the season last year. I mean, they had a huge winning streak last year where they were just rolling. And then they had their run in the playoffs and obviously to win the Super Bowl. They just seem off. On offense, it starts with Saquon Barkley to me. Yeah. And then defensively, Jalen Carter was a guy who just seemed like a force. And I'm not saying he's playing bad, but he doesn't seem to be the same player that he was a season ago.
No, they've been up and down, like you mentioned. They've been a mystery, certainly offensively. But this game is huge for Philadelphia because if they beat the Commanders, they clinch the division. So that's why I don't think the Commanders have a chance to win. This game means a lot to Philadelphia.
Yeah. I think we might surprise them. I don't know. Maybe not. They're 60.
Look, Marcus has played pretty good. I know you don't want to give him credit. I think with Marcus,
he doesn't really
offense,
win. He's playing okay, and he's good for a spectacularly bonehead play every week.
Yeah.
But Marcus has put them in positions to win. It's not necessarily his fault all the time.
I mean, for a guy
He's
who's
played
had
okay. He's a backup.
10
He's played
touchdowns
like a
and
backup.
7 interceptions and a couple fumbles,
Yeah.
he's been okay.
I was listening to Chris Russell when I was driving around yesterday, and Russell was talking about how much Marcus might command this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
He's making about $9-10 million this year.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to make $15 million next year?
Marcus?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know who would give him $15 million as a backup.
I mean, there are some desperate teams maybe who might throw him in there that might be some sort of a bridge quarterback.
I think he still shows signs of being that backup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do too.
He just makes some, like you said, boneheaded mistakes. And I mean, a bridge quarterback, possibly, but I would think he might just re-sign with Washington as Jaden's backup.
But they'll probably give him a little raise. They're
10 or
not going to
12.
give him the same. They'll give him a little raise.
All right.
I think that's what JP's getting at.
I mean, are you talking about with Washington or with another team?
I think with another team is what Russell was throwing out there.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think
that he might be interested in like a starting job, and maybe there's a team that's desperate.
I mean, if you're going to sign him as your starter, you are desperate. I'm sorry, you just are.
Now, just on the injury front, of course, we've talked about it all week. They made the news that they are, in fact, shutting down Jaden. When you look at their Wednesday injury report, Eddie Goldman, who I guess suffered a concussion, he did not practice. Bobby Wagner has something going on with his knee because he's been listed quite a bit lately in the last few weeks. He did not practice. Colson Yankoff, the tight end, it's a thin group already. He's got an ankle, did not practice. Jaden's got some limited participation, but he's not going to play. We know that the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Laramie Tunsil was back, limited. So that's good. And then full participants, looks like C-Rod is back on track, right? So we can see
he's
Chris
gonna
Rodriguez.
go. Yeah.
Jonathan Jones, a corner, he's a full participant. Drake Jackson, full participant. So he's starting to rack up some practices here
With them
in his
shutting
21-day window.
With them shutting down Jaden Daniels, could you make an argument that they just should shut down Tunsil, shut down Terry McLaurin, shut down all the guys who you want to be part of your future, right?
Right.
I just don't think you can do that.
I think you can make an argument because if you lose Laramie Tunsil to an injury,
Yeah.
like a torn ACL or torn Achilles, that ruins your plans at left tackle next season.
Yeah, but why wouldn't every team that's already eliminated from playoffs just start benching all their starters? Why
I
wouldn't?
just think it's bad business.
Yeah.
People are going to go to the games.
I mean,
they're
if they're
gonna lose
banged
to the
up-
team.
Okay, but you're shutting down your star quarterback.
It's not a
They
great
shouldn't.
look.
They shouldn't. Yeah.
It's not a
It's a
great look.
controversy, and if they start shutting down all these other guys, it'll get even bigger.
And by the way, this has to be the last year they ever do this kind of thing.
Oh.
Like the kid gloves are completely off. He gets hurt next year. You got to hustle him back.
Yeah, you got to power through it.
You got to power through. You play hurt, or you get him as healthy as you can and throw him back out there. We're not shutting them down every year when they're eliminated.
1-800-636-1067. I bet you there are some of those that are in the tanking community that believe they should shut down Terry. Don't risk it. Shut down Tunsil. The sad thing is there aren't that many guys that you need to shut down.
Yeah, it wouldn't really matter. Shut down Wagner.
Now here's one little.
Well, Wagner's not really a part of the
Well, that's
future,
true. He's
like
not part of the
long-term
future. He's
future.
not gonna be here next
year. You can play him. Now, there's people like, we had Danny Rouillet on the show earlier this week during our colleague check-in, and he's a big advocate of playing the young guys like the whole time and not playing Bobby Wagner. Get Jordan. And there's merit to his argument. Why is Sinnott only on the field for 20 snaps? Or I don't know if you can check his snap count.
Yeah.
Why isn't he out there for all the snaps?
Mm-hmm.
Because Danny is coming from the perspective, he literally at this point doesn't care if they win. In fact, would prefer that they lose.
Yeah.
So he just wants to play young guys, see what you got.
But I do think there's some merit
and it's
to
a conflict with the coaches. The coaches and the players and their professional dignity and responsibility. They're just not going to lay down like that.
Maybe get Jordan McGee on the field even more. We've seen some of it, but his point is, this is when you really should be playing the young guys to see what they have. Versus having Bobby Wagner on the field for 100% of the snaps.
All right, maybe not Wagner, but with Tunsil, even though he did have that injury, if he can go, I'd rather have my best left tackle out there to protect my quarterback, even though it's a backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to back up left tackle.
It's fundamental part of the offense.
Look, I'm just throwing it out there. I think guys should play. They're under contract. You play.
Mm-hmm.
You play for the fans. You play for your teammates. They should play.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what?
including
But
Jason.
I do think there is an argument out there, especially from the tanking community and the people that are already just worried about next year, which is what the organization has done with Jaden Daniels, that would say, well, let's just make sure that Terry doesn't get hurt, Tunsil gets hurt. I mean, there's only a handful
Well, you
of
might
guys.
see that in Week 18 when they play the Eagles
Right.
up in Philly. You might see that in that game.
I'm very curious to see how many carries Bill gets this week because he had been kind of limited in the last few weeks, but then with no Chris Rodriguez, he got 18 carries, 96 yards. He's quietly putting together a pretty solid numbers-wise rookie campaign. He's got 646 yards. He's averaging 4.5 yards a carry. He's got 5 touchdowns.
I think he's in the top 5 for rookie running
He's
backs.
got an opportunity easily, even in limited work, to get to about 800 yards.
Yeah. I still think they're
And
going
you're
to
going to
add.
look back on that and go, wow, that's pretty good.
Well, you're going to look at the numbers, but then how many times did we watch the game and go, why isn't Merritt, producing?
Well,
There's been a lot of times this year where we've asked that
Yeah,
question.
after the Chargers game, which was his best
That was
game
his
of
best
the
game.
season,
Yeah.
he had 4 straight duds.
He had a bunch of games where he averaged 2.5 yards, 2.8, 3.2, 2.7, 3.1. So he definitely went through his rookie wall. But when it's all said and done, 4.5 yards per carry, and if he gets close to 800 yards,
the
not
numbers-
a bad rookie campaign for
numbers
a
aren't bad.
7th-round draft pick.
No doubt.
Nope. Got a big NFL game tonight. Seahawks, Rams. That could be for the 1 seed in the NFC. We'll talk to Brian Baldinger, Odyssey NFL Insider, about that and more here on the Junkies.